Miami, 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 Miami. It feels like Miami.
Welcome to the Miami Heat Beat Postgame Show. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today, Heat Twitter President Alf. Producer right now, stream beat, draft beat, Franky G.
Guy in the chair, according to Alf.
Youth
Guy, movement.
Kyle Scarlett at
Yo.
IIQ Hoops. What's up, my man?
What's going on?
What is this background? Where are you?
I am not in my normal space. I'm back home in South Florida, actually.
Oh, there you
Witness
go.
protection.
Yeah, love that. Boys, today was
Whoa, with the boys. Calm down.
Whoa.
fellas.
Yeah, okay.
Fellas. I love boys.
Tread lightly.
We're boys. I don't know. Fellas.
Tread lightly.
Dudes. My
guys.
Esteemed panelists. Today was Alf. I don't want to accuse Jimmy Butler of not trying, because I think he's a professional. I think that he's a guy that I think he's 35 years old, and when you're 35 years old, there are going to be a lot of nights that you look like this, and there's a lot of nights that you're going to look like that. I guess that answers my question.
Nah, I'm not. The chat just told me to take it back down, so I did. For the podcast audience, I took down my Jimmy Butler jersey.
Yeah, I mean,
no, man, like it's hard to watch him play. And it's not just offensively, defensively, like looking like legit lost at times.
Yes.
Like just like looking like a chicken with his head cut off. Like where am I supposed to be, motherfucker? You've been in the system 6 years. Like I don't know. Like I hate putting that on people. Like, oh, he quit or he this, he that. I don't know what's going on in his head. I don't know what's really happening. Like, but what I as a fan, it's super disappointing to watch. Right? Like I don't care if Jimmy played super well tonight. I still don't think they win. Right? And we could talk about the game and like whether like Heat fans really have a right to be super pissed about losing on a back-to-back to a team that is legit better than you. Like, I don't care what the records say. The Pacers are a better team than the Miami Heat right now. And I know Heat fans don't want to hear that. Like, that's why my title says they are aggressively mid. Like, all these teams are packed in this little, like, tight race, and none of them are that much better or worse than the other, right? Second night of a back-to-back, you're going to lose this game. But to show as supposedly the leader of this team, you would expect a little bit more fight out of Jimmy, right? And I would say like they legit would have had if Jimmy didn't play, they would have had a better chance to win this game. And you never want to say that about your quote unquote best player on the team. And honestly, you can't even call him the best player on the team this year because it's far and away Tyler. You'd have to say Bam has been the second best. I mean, I don't even know where you put Jimmy in the pecking order right now, but he's just not there. And that's why, like, the other day I was like, I don't even really consider him as part of the team as much anymore. And that's why, like, listen, I want him to end his career with the Heat, but if they traded him, I wouldn't shed a tear.
I want him to end his career with the Heat,
he's kind of
too,
like
in a different sense.
of the Heat, just wasn't really in it with us at the end. Kind of left on. I'm kidding. I love you, Nikias.
Wow.
No, that's my guy. I love him.
And he would have won the champion somewhere else.
Yeah, no, literally, he got with Steve Jones. He got with his all-star, all NBA teammate. Left us for dead. That's your text. I miss you, dog. Kidding. But Alf, you're totally right. And I think the effort on defense is just sometimes it's just non-existent. There was a possession where Tyler had it, just came over to help for no reason. It's just like that's just not the kind of mistakes that he would make. It's like, are you like, what are you doing? Why are you leaving guys open on the roll? Why are you you're standing in no man's land? On offense, he's in a corner at all times. Now you could say like, oh, he's gonna get better from being sick. I don't know, man. It just kind of feels like
weird.
It feels weird. No, Kyle, it feels weird. It feels like he's kind of in no man's land at all times. I don't even know how to interpret that. I mean, you kind of look at the stats and they're bad, and you kind of watch the games and it's even worse.
I think the problem, he answered some questions the other day with I don't know. And now we're watching him in the games, and I'm also saying I don't know.
He's saying I don't know on defense too.
Yeah, I shouldn't be saying I don't know, because you're basically saying I don't know what I'm getting from Jimmy tonight. You should be able to say I'm going to get his best effort. I know he's going to defend. I know he's going to try to put the ball in the basket. Right now, the same answer he gave is the exact same answer I'm giving. I don't know. You can't have the type of like game he had and say, well, yeah, I want to be here, extend me. That's just not going to work. And granted, his health is, important. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's actually better. However, if you're not good, then don't say you're good to go. Right? Like, I feel like
it was a team worst minus 27 tonight.
It's effort, right? This game was more to me about effort. It's not about being better. It's not about being better than Rachel Nichols. Maybe Rachel Nichols. But it's less about being better than the Pacers, to Al's point. It's more about the effort. If they played with more effort on defense, I feel like this game would have been closer. Maybe they win the game.
If Jimmy sits out tonight, the game is closer.
And even
if Terry got the requisite 2-game suspension that he should have got, or rest of season suspension, the game would have been closer.
He should have thrown a punch. Fucking coward. Can't do anything right.
No, but I think you were about to say. Go ahead, Kyle, because you were about to say. Even Terry was better than Jimmy tonight.
Right. I mean, he looked like Terry made layups.
He smoked
which is like, we should be saying that either. But to me, it looks like being in the corner when you're not a 3-point shooter is strange to me. Like, I don't understand standing in the corner and not aggressively getting the ball. You know that you need to put the ball in the basket from the post down. Put some effort there. He didn't seem like he wanted to be here tonight. So that's kind of what we got, is him kind of floating. I mean, it's so basically
Kyle,
5-on-4.
I have a question to piggyback off that for everybody. If you're saying, and I think we all agree, the behavior was somebody who doesn't want to be here. Do we think that he's doing this on purpose to not request a trade, but kind of request a trade without going into someone's office? Because it's bad. So you think,
I think so. Alf, Franky, I think so.
Alf, I want to get.
I just don't like the Castle's aspersions, right?
I agree with you.
You know how I listen. I think people think I'm a hot take person, but one thing I really try not to do is question motives, unless we're talking about Joel Embiid or somebody I hate.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, but like, I'm not going to question Jimmy's motives. All I can talk about is gameplay, right? And gameplay, he was ass, right? And a lot of guys were ass tonight, but none were as ass as Jimmy Butler. Like, he was the most ass. Like, he didn't
Jimmy Butler, if you will.
Exactly. Jimmy Ashler. Like, he didn't play the entire fourth quarter and was still somehow a minus 27 in a 13-point loss. Like, two games in a row, they bench him from the entire fourth quarter. Are they benching him because they're too far out of reach, or are they benching him, or are they benching him because it's the first night of a back-to-back? Or are they benching him because they're watching what we're watching? And like, I call a spade. Like, he's not good right now. And like, he's had a good season. Like, don't get me wrong, he's been super efficient. His defense has been really good. It's just since he came back after all these rumors, you can put, read the tea leaves, connect the dots, all you want to. I would just say, since all the rumors, all the bullshit, and since he's come back, he has been a bad basketball player. Like, I'm getting to this point right now. It's just not getting to it. Like, I'm just kind of tired of this build. Not kind of. I'm tired of this build.
I mean, kind of. We're all.
I'm just like, I enjoyed that fourth quarter so much just watching Ware go off. Right. I like seeing Kashad Johnson play. I like seeing Pella Larson play. I like, I said the other night, I like watching Jaime, even though he's been really bad. At least there's so much effort.
You've been consistent with that. Well, we've all wanted him not here. You have been pretty consistent.
Gee, you wanted him deported.
I was just gonna say I wanted him. I wanted him gone.
But you know what it is?
I wanted the government. I wanted this to go to the highest office.
G said birthright citizenship. We need to talk about this.
I want to watch guys who I just hungry, who are hustling, that I enjoy watching play. But I don't want to watch Terry Rosier anymore. I don't want to watch the disinterested Jimmy Butler. Like tonight, Bam was because he's playing against Miles Turner. He was on fire. Like Tyler Hero has been really fun to watch this year. Like I don't care if they're mid. I don't care if they're a 7 seed, 8 seed, 6 seed, 4 seed. What I care about is am I enjoying these games? And like games like tonight, watching Jimmy basically quiet quit and watching Terry Rosier just be Terry Rosier. I just don't enjoy this shit.
I like what Tiff says in chat. I'll punch G in the face over my love for Jimmy, but he's been mediocre this season.
I think he was good before this injury.
Yeah, he was good.
I think he was good. Okay.
But these last 2 games have dropped him to mediocre overall.
Spo's at the podium right now. Anthony Chang reports Eric Spoelstra on Jimmy's back-to-back 9-point performances. Quote, "It's aberrational." That's a new one. We've been covering this guy for a long time. That's a new one.
I'm not gonna lie. That's a very Spo answer to that.
Aberrational is.
I don't even think aberrational is a word. Someone said, "Is that a word?" I don't think it is.
We're gonna find out. Aberrational is in Webster's dictionary.
Okay.
A departing from some accepted standard of what is normal. Aberration.
Out of the ordinary, yes.
It was more abortional.
But
sorry, not to get political.
But I feel like
I'm in Florida. You're in Georgia.
Yeah.
I feel like there was more effort to be put. Like, if you're going to be out there, put some effort. If you're not going to score a bunch of points, grab rebounds, get steals, defend, play hard. And I think I've said this before. If I'm not the type of person who loves basketball where it has to be pretty. I grew up on ugly ball. Like, Wade was playing in some ugly spacing.
Wade was the beautiful part in a sea of New Jersey Nets.
He played in was not
Gary
good spacing.
Kittles and fucking Ben Wallace.
Yakuba Diawara.
Like what I'm saying is there's effort. You got to put forth effort. If you're not going to score 30, you're not going to score 20, then you've got to put your best foot forward on effort. And each night, I said this my first time on here. My measurement for a franchise player is by giving effort, because if Wade didn't have a great shooting night, he did everything else. It didn't matter. He did everything else.
I don't think this is fair either, because we've watched Jimmy give like 160% effort. Whether today he's old or not, I don't know. I think he does deserve some benefit of the doubt, which is why I think the conversation is kind of interesting, because it's
So here's the thing, G, and this is where it comes down to. Okay, let's have the real conversation about what the Heat should do with Jimmy Butler. If he's old, and this is what he looks like, why does he think he deserves this? Why does he think he deserves this extension?
I agree.
What does he think he's going to get as a free agent this summer? Like, who's going to sign him? Like, and that's the thing that blows my mind. Like, you would think, like, he'd be trying to set himself up, for a team to actually come. Like, what team is looking at him the last 2 games and says, I want to give the Heat 3 first-round picks for that guy? You know what I'm saying? So either he's sabotaging his own value, which is a really stupid thing to do, or this is who he is now.
I think it's part of both. I think it's a guy that is pretty not happy with the situation, who's also, how old is he? 35 years old, coming off an illness, and I think it's gonna look like this. And I think like the defense has been a thing since last season, and Alf, we've talked about it a lot. Just like that's been the area that's slipped the most. And I was texting Tiff today, and I'm like, listen, man, I love that guy, but he's probably good for 10 great games in the playoffs, and then kind of spotty regular season performance where you got to have somebody else kind of carry it. The parts that worries me most is like, like this, right?
Yeah.
Tweet. Yeah, this tweet from McDaniel's burner, just Jimmy being the only one seated during the middle of this run, stuff like that is what I guess kind of worried. And I don't know if it was Alf or Kyle or Franky, somebody said at the top of the show, but it's like he doesn't feel like he's a part of the team anymore, and that's the stuff that worries me more, I guess. That it just
You said we all look alike. Wow.
Indistinguishable.
But this was so fucking predictable, G. We talked about this when Pat had the press conference. As soon as you made it, he decided to make that statement and call out Jimmy. He started a war. Nobody wants to break up with each other. Nobody wants. They didn't counter his offer for a max, or his request for a max. They didn't trade him. They brought this into the season and hoped it was going to be all sunshines and rainbows. I'm sorry, Jimmy Butler and a contract dispute. Where have we seen this issue arise before? And they always try to pretend that heat culture will mask every fucking issue, and it doesn't. It's reality. You're dealing with human fucking beings and emotional human beings, prideful human beings. And this is Jimmy, who they've complained about, and they know how difficult he's been in the background, stuff they haven't even reported and they haven't let out. And it's whether he is still sick and recovering or he's not trying, doesn't matter. This is a topic of discussion, and it's nobody's fault but their own.
So Ira Winderman just spoke to Jimmy, said Jimmy is not happy. Quote, "What do I want to see happen? I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball," Jimmy said. Quote, "Probably not," end quote, when asked if he can get his joys back with the Heat.
I mean, here's my thing.
That's bad. That's the worst thing he said.
Straight shoot. If you're going to do this,
that's worse than
shoot.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut and play basketball. That's it. It's fucking.
Dude, let's just be done with this, man. It's miserable.
That's it, bro.
It's just miserable.
Like
Tiffany in the chat says, "I want Ira to stop talking."
yeah, Ira, yeah. What did I say the other day? He asks these abstract questions that he knows the timing is the worst to ask, and he's gonna get the flat out answer, and that's what he's gonna report.
Jimmy wants to stop talking to Ira. That's the thing.
I mean, Ira scooped Brady. Let's be real. Ira's the big winner today.
You think if Ira was at Golden State, Jimmy would want to go there? I don't think so.
To Franky's point, once you didn't give, why do we think that you're just going to play hardball with Jimmy Butler and shit's going to go well? It's just not. We should have known this from the beginning. If Pat was going to make this statement, you should have made it a long time ago. And at the same thing, I still contend that nothing. Ira drove LeBron away. Someone says in the chat. I still contend nothing's really changed since the summer, but my thing is that we've all should have saw this coming, and we all knew that this was coming.
Draft B had it first.
But I just at some point I just ripped a goddamn Band-Aid off. Our Winderman is a LaMelo Ball of Heat reporters, biggest green light in terms of interview questions.
Hold on, look at this question.
I'm not reading that.
Not reading that either.
But see, here's my issue. And maybe it's because of
chat's killing it tonight. I love you. Tune in live, twitch.tv/MiamiHeatBeat, or live on YouTube if you want to get in on this laughter pod audience.
Pat called out Braun when he left. He's like, "Oh, don't walk out the door." This is the same guy, right? So it's not like this. It's this thing where it's like, "Oh, Pat's being old and grumpy." No, he did this. He's done it before with a player who's, if we're talking about tiers and caliber, LeBron is, probably one of the greatest basketball players ever.
I don't think these situations are any kind of related.
No,
LeBron was in his
This is more like Dwayne,
right?
Yeah, this is more like I mean, LeBron was in his prime, A++ superstar that you knew. If you keep Jimmy, I think we all know that this group is not winning a title.
Here's the thing. If you keep Jimmy, it's for sentimental value, right?
Literally.
But do you do that?
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
It was life or death with LeBron.
Here's the thing. You fucked up the sentiment already.
Yeah.
The sentiment is done. If you're going to keep him for sentimental value as a thank you for what he's done in the past, you should have gave him an extension, right? If your plan was for this year for him to just, he's going to, come out guns blazing and prove, like, what Jimmy Butler are you guys talking about, right? And then for a guy to sit here, can't find his joy playing basketball, like, listen, I'm not one of these guys. You're getting paid a lot of money, but I don't want to hear that shit.
Right.
It's time to
I
go.
don't want to fucking hear it.
It's time to go then. Right?
Like,
Call it
like,
what it is. Like, if you're going to straight shoot, if you're going to be, and I think the whole, to Franky's point, if you're going to do this whole nobody wants to be the bad guy, listen, both sides are bad guys now. Just call it what it is. If you're going to say, hey, look, I'm not going to publicly ask for a trade, but I'd like to be traded. And you say, hey, look, we appreciate what you've done. Where do you want to go? Do that. Don't be cryptic and write things on the wall with an invisible finger. I just don't understand the point of that.
Because that dickhead standoff they're doing, like, you just both being dickheads. Like,
they're so fucking stubborn. He doesn't want to request out publicly, and they don't want to fucking trade him because they hate trading guys.
They don't want to trade him, and he doesn't want to tank his PR. You're absolutely right, Frankie.
They're fucking cowards.
Really,
they could have. Like I said,
this is this is my parents' divorce all over again.
Yeah, Pat decided he wasn't going to offer him. They should have traded him right there. They could have pivoted in the offseason and built the whole fucking team around Tyler and Bam, and they wasted a whole fucking offseason wasting our fucking time. Now they're gonna get less value and a whole fucking half a year off there. This is what they always fucking do. This is what they repeat their fucking mistakes because they don't fucking learn, and it's frustrating as hell.
I just never understood, like, if you weren't gonna give Jimmy his extension, let him go.
Exactly.
Like, what did you think was gonna? First of all, if Jimmy balled out this year, you don't think he would have been fucking pissed?
Right.
Like, that guy in Minnesota who dominates the practice with all, like, Jimmy's not going into practice with fucking Pell Larson and dominating practice,
But even if he did, and even if he showed out and got you to the fucking conference finals, knocking down 35 points per game, all like old school, just vintage playoff Jimmy. You think after you tried him last year, he was going to re-sign here?
Mm-hmm.
No, he was going to go get that bag somewhere else.
I got another.
So, like, I never understood, like, in my opinion, if you were going to be sentimental, the right thing to do was just give him his extension. Right. You can't play both sides of the fucking fence here. No. Like, you can't be just, have sentiment and still try to be fucking hardcore. Like, it's one or the other.
And Alf, it was in the very beginning, the extension was one more year on top of what was already agreed upon.
It was nothing.
It was nothing.
Fucking gave it to him.
They played hardball, and I 5 Reasons hasn't reported this, but reading the tea leaves, they pretty much it seems like they wanted to get to extend him, but at a lower than minimum for flexibility to build the roster around, which is understandable. Like like you understand, because Jimmy's availability has been a question mark every season as it is, and going forward we don't expect it to improve. But once there was a fundamental disagreement from both sides, move on. That's it. The
only thing I can think, right, is you're saying, okay, well, we'll just let him walk for nothing instead of taking on more bad contracts, because you're going to have to take on bad contracts to get rid of him, right? But you could take on some contracts that aren't as adverse. So if that was the case, then why did you trade for Terry Rosier?
You know why?
No, I don't know why. Because you could have just let Kyle walk last summer, let Jimmy walk this coming summer.
They had to someone, and they wanted to
that's just this bad fucking emotional weird management. It's bad management.
We said this at the time. By the way, real quick, I want to go. So Jimmy's speaking right now. Alex Toledo has some quotes. Quote on Jimmy's focus. Jimmy said, "I feel great. I felt like I was focused. I feel like I did my job, or at least what my job is now."
Huh?
Whatever that means.
What did I just say about Cryptic writing on the, like, shoot straight, man? I don't
translate for us.
So then he proceeds to say, on his quote new role, Jimmy says, it can be my role here. That's not what I'm used to being. I haven't been that way since my first or second year in the league where I'm just playing defense. I competed, I guarded, I didn't let my man score. I got to be honest with you, brother, you let everybody let dudes score tonight. I don't know that's courtesy of 5 Reasons Sports and Alex Toledo.
CJ
at the arena.
Was scoring all over his ass last game. So man.
That's bad. This is not good.
I don't see. To me, it's pretty simple where you go from here, right? Like there isn't any. First off, him talking about Chicago. We're talking about Chicago now. The Chicago version of Jimmy the first 2 years. That guy gave more effort.
What was that noise?
Because I'm puzzled. I'm puzzled what he means. Oh, all I'm doing is defending. Dude, you're supposedly the best player on the team. Demand the ball.
G, do you want the clip?
The ball in your spot.
Yes.
Score the ball. Or at least for all the defense, I watched the whole game.
It's 2 minutes.
What defense? What defense did you play? If you played even a little bit more defense, if you're on Halliburton the whole game and he put this up, okay, fine. But really, no, I didn't see enough effort from you.
Yeah, just because you didn't let Nemhard score. Like, nobody gives a fuck.
It was damn easy tonight. But
Jimmy, by the way, said he's happy here, quote, off the court.
You're not serious.
He just opened Big Face Coffee, bro.
Shit, I mean, he did New Year's Eve on a yacht with Ludacris. I'd be happy too.
Yeah, like Fez, he's just making shit up to make the Heat the bad guy. They don't want to break up with each other. Like Franky's been saying. Until he came back from this fucking stomach ache, like, he had all the chances in the world to score. He had the ball plenty. He was actually being super efficient. He was having a good season. Like, the fact that his role changed after missing a few games, like, I don't know. I mean,
I gotta say one thing. It's been worse. He's almost fought Spo after they got absolutely.
Yeah, but they were good then.
Warriors.
And that was also about caring. Like, they were both they had a fundamental disagreement on the court of what was going on and how they were playing, not whether or not he should be on the fucking team.
They sent me out there to sage the arena. It was the vibes were not very good at the time.
Gee, you saged the arena like twice a season. That was nothing.
That was the first. That was actually the first time.
This is like Teflon.
No, there's no. Listen, it's out of
DefCon. I mean, excuse me.
I'm not even. I don't even. No, you know it's so bad that I'm not even being asked to stage anymore.
Yeah, no. Why waste it?
Alf, to your point, the game before he got sick and left, he had 35 points on 19 rebounds, 10 assists.
Listen, I love Jimmy to death, but fuck you, bro. That's such bullshit what he's saying.
Yeah,
like, it's such horseshit. It's such a fucking lame cop out. Like, I love Jimmy to death, but I'm not gonna fucking give him a free ride on that one. That is such horseshit. Like, someone in the chat says, if you're a superstar, you demand the ball and take over the game and don't get fucking punked by Tyrese Halliburton. Don't fucking blame the system. Don't fucking blame the offense and I'm just standing in the corner. Move out the fucking corner then. Like, they took Terry Rosier out the lineup. Like, it's you and fucking Haywood Highsmith, bro. It's you and
gotta get the ball to Haywood when you
Ware. I mean, Chucky, Ware played well. I just to kind of shift it to a positive point, I do think he was a bright side. I think Kashad getting some minutes was bright. I don't understand why Kashad wasn't playing earlier, especially if you're talking about a bigger team, a little bit faster. If you're going to run
3 big guys together, that was crazy.
So to me, you got Jovic, you got Kashad, you got Ware. I think you could have thrown Highsmith at the 2 down there, and whoever at point guard.
I wanted them to take Kyle. I wanted them to take Terry out and put Bam in. Fuck this shit.
Agreed.
Super big.
I agree with you.
I agree with you. Fun.
So Franky got us the audio from Jimmy Butler press conference. It's about 30 seconds. Franky, can you run that for us?
The ball a lot, but we won't sit here and say that I don't play hard.
What will fix it? What do you want to see happen to fix it?
What do I want to see happen? I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball. And wherever that may be, we'll find out here pretty soon. But I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court. But I want to be back to somewhat dominant. I want to hoop, and I want to help this team win. Right now, I'm not doing that.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
That's a mic drop. That's how you do a motherfucking press conference, That's how you fucking do it. Laid an egg on the court, dominated the press conference.
Listen,
I'm sorry, that was badass.
How do you
guys, is that not asking for a trade?
Didn't
trade?
even let Ira Winderman get a retort.
How do you start him next game?
You can't. You can't.
Oh, easy. Easy.
How do you play him?
You roll him out there with Haywood Highsmith and Hero, who dresses like DB Cooper every game now, every post game now, and you fucking Alf. They're the Kings of run it back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. To me, that's a trade.
When we say run it back, they say run it back harder.
Alf, how much do you want to bet the Terry trade? The reasoning that they invested a first round pick because they weren't even thinking past last season.
Of course not. It was such. Oh my God! It was such a fucking desperation bullshit move. And honestly, like everything we're talking about can be traced back to that fucking terrible trade. Like, okay, you can go back to the Dame thing. All right, the Dame thing didn't pan out. Then they just did absolutely nothing that summer.
They can't let Joe Cronin win.
And then after not doing anything that summer, they decide the way to fucking fix it is to trade for Terry Rosier and basically completely deplete all their assets and put themselves in a position where they can't make moves in the offseason. Like, I listen, at this point, I don't blame Jimmy for being upset. What I won't, Tiffany says that Terry trade ruined my life. Yeah, me too. I don't blame him for being upset with the front office. I don't blame him for wanting out. But what I won't sit here and do and let him act like there's something with the scheme that is affecting the way he's playing.
100%.
Like, that's the part I'm just like, fuck out of here, bro.
Duncan Robinson has more say in the offense than you do. I don't think so.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
that's a superstar right there.
Oh, absolutely.
You watch your goddamn tone when you're talking about D-Rob.
I feel like that.
And it just really sounds like he's taking shots at Tyler. Like, the offense is geared towards Tyler now.
Tyler's been great. I mean, if you're going to tell me that, oh well, I don't play hard, or they're not going to tell me I don't play hard, brother. I'm watching you not play hard. I have eyes. So does everybody else. We have eyes. So the run is made without you on the floor. You don't get back in the game. You don't say, hey, we've got this thing down to 15. We got this thing down to 14. Coach, let's see what we can do here. Because players that want to play will play. You don't have to beg. So to me, there's a whole lot of, and then with the press conference, to me, it's I just said it. All the cryptic, I don't know about whether it's gonna be here or not. I just want my joy back, brother. You know what? Just I don't know why he could have saved a bunch of sentences and just said, I'd like to be traded. To me, that's what it sounded like. I could be terribly wrong on the intonation, but to me, it sounded like, hey, I don't know if it's gonna be here. I'd like to be here, but I don't like to be here. I'm happy off the court, brother. We're writing in invisible ink here, man. If you want to be traded, just ask for a trade. He's
not gonna publicly demand a trade, like chat saying.
Well, right. Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to do it publicly because we've already seen what happens with that. I'm saying if you're going to get on stage and answer questions and say, well, I'm happy off court and I do play hard, even though I only shot 6 times tonight and I didn't really put a bunch of effort on defense. Like, to me, it's crap. To Al's point, it's bull crap. It's a whole bunch of bull crap. If you're going to play with effort, play with effort. If you want to be traded, play with effort. To be honest with you, it's a two-way thing. You don't play with less effort if you want to be traded. You play with more effort to prove you should be traded. And then that team, whoever gets you, is like, yeah, we're getting a decent ass.
He's taking his value at this point.
I got to be honest with you. I don't even think that. I think people know or assume that guy is a competitor and he's unhappy and he's trying to force his way out. That's what I'm assuming. I mean, I don't think front offices are going to see, like, they know what, this guy's been in the league a long time. You know what you're getting. This is not, he's 35. I don't think that, the question is going to be, is he going to get paid what he thinks he's going to get paid? I don't think so. And I think that's kind of been the thing. And I said this the other day where he wants a max deal. And and Chad says, I'm going to return my listen, I'm never going back. I'm sorry. I'm not going back to Target workout clothes. It is what it is. The Heat probably would give him the most money. And I don't think he's going to get the max contract that he wants. And I got to be honest, I don't think the Heat should pay him. And I've said that a lot. I said, I think it's a bad idea to pay him. I would pay him because I'm a sentimental guy and I would just keep him so that he retires here. But I don't think the Heat are wrong in saying I don't want to pay him. Where they're wrong is not moving him.
You know what my biggest fucking problem is, and I think we've been saying it. Bleacher Report said, "Sad Jimmy Butler." No
They're
joy.
Right.
I lost my joy. Anyway,
I'm sorry. Chad says Jimmy wants money. He wants to want. That's bullshit. That's absolute fucking total bullshit. He wants the fucking
money is the issue. But
money's the fucking issue.
Then he would take a fair deal, and
I think we're beyond that. I think if they offered him the max tomorrow, he would probably not sign it, and he still might. And that is total and utter horseshit.
Here's the thing that pisses me off the most, right? And I hate the fact that we're not talking about this game more because Ware was really fun.
Yeah, we'll get into let you wrap up and then we'll get into Ware.
Look at the stretch five. Look at the stretch five. But I will say my biggest problem with the Heat for the longest time has been what's the fucking plan? Right? The plan was go get Dame, and apparently when that fell through, these motherfuckers had no answers. None. There is no plan. There is no vision. Like instead of okay, let's lean into the younger guys. They keep. I mean, for the whole first half of the year, they were running out Terry Rosier, Thomas Bryant, and Josh Richardson. Right? They keep acting like they're going to contend and they want to keep competing with this team that we just know isn't good enough. Like one of the worst things I hate saying it, but one of the worst things that might have happened to this team is that run from the play-in. Because it gave them this false sense that they had this fucking magic elixir. That team has been bad since they lost to the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals.
2 starters after that run. That fucking summer. They lost Gabe.
But they were bad the year they went to finals against Denver.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is that I agree with what you're saying. On top of that, whatever stakes of security they fell into, that fucking summer, a month later, they got the finals fucking 3 weeks later. They knew that they were going to lose.
Plans like Caleb Martin at the 4, like shit like that. That's my problem with this team right now. It seems so directionless.
Hey, so shout out to Caleb's agent, man, because he really fucking saved them.
But look where we are now. Look what we're talking about now. The Terry Rosier trade is the move of a bad front office.
The only 4 guys, we talk about all the run it back shit. The only fucking rotation guys from that run that are still playing are Duncan, Bam, Jimmy, and Tyler, and I guess Highsmith a little bit. Everybody else is gone. Here, Kyle's gone. Caleb's gone. Vincent's gone. Strus is gone. Kevin Love doesn't play anymore. As for all this talk about run it back, and they kind of ran it back, but worse every year.
But they keep getting worse. It's like this war of attrition, and they keep getting worse, and they keep paying and then they keep making bad moves after bad move after bad move, and they keep saying, okay, we're going to take more G League guys to replace. They replaced Crowder, Iggy, and Solomon Hill or whatever. I like throwing Solomon in there. They replaced them with G League guys. Then they replaced the G League guys with more G League guys, and the G League guys are more. And now we're at this point right now where the loss of Drew Smith, is crippling. Okay, that's where the fuck we are right now. And it's not. It's just this isn't 2010 where they had this fucking long-term plan. Because even if Jimmy walks and that contract comes off the books, they don't have no fucking cap space. How is that possible? How does a max contract walk away? You still have no cap space. You still have no assets. They have nothing to trade.
They got
like,
Terry Rosier.
And Alf, you would think they would have some answers at some positions with all those assets gone. They still don't have a 4 that they trust to
They
start.
haven't had a 4 the entire time he's been here.
They haven't had a point guard since Kyle and Gabe. Like
They thought they had it in Drew Smith, and then his knee exploded, or his Achilles exploded
again.
Yeah.
Again.
But like this, it's been directionless. Like they've been constantly replenishing at the bottom. Like all those things.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And trying to develop.
That's the name of the episode. Replenishing at the bottom.
Yeah. Like,
but like you're exactly right. And we talked about it before that like every time there's been an NBA level, like really good role player out there, they just sat on their fucking hands. Like we are too fucking smart for everybody else. We will go pick another fucking Caleb Martin out of the G League and make him into this like the chat saying a point of attack defender. Like, how about you just get one? How about you just get an NBA level player instead of continuously trying to, just rely on this development thing and like just, read your own press. I honestly think it's hubris at this point, right? Like to think that for some reason everyone knows what the fuck Terry Rosier is, but you are going to make him into the fucking missing piece on a contender? Like, what the fuck? Who thought that?
We got chat down bad. This is
and they haven't been
Winslow.
I think the thing is, like, if you're gonna lean young, which it's funny because the young guys are who got the team back into some kind of like, granted Pacers kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit, but they got back in the game with young guys. For all of this, to be honest, if you're gonna go young, then just go young because of course you need to play faster, both offense and on offense and defense. You need to play faster. Guys are trotting back on defense. I mean, some of that is, Pat said this a few years ago, and this is hilarious to me because everybody's like, "Oh, we don't know, Pat's asleep. Oh, he's comatose. Yada yada yada."
Pat Burner.
But the other day, a couple years ago, he said. A few years ago, he was saying this team might have, or this build has probably run, this construction has probably run its course. He said this before the Boston out.
Yeah.
He said, like, this has probably run its course.
And you did
it's
nothing.
been a long time. They haven't got it done. We've been successful if you consider like how far we've gotten with what we've had. We've made the best out of what we've had.
God.
So now where everybody's just like, pretending like, oh, well, Pat's asleep. No, actually, Pat's aware that this team is exactly what it was. They made the finals twice. They made the conference finals once. And the one season we had, what's his face? Oh, man. Valencia, but I can't remember his name. That was bad season, right? Then you had this past season where they ran into injuries. Jimmy gets injured. They get put out. Okay, this has just been what it is, and at this point, I always say that the fans want to just see new faces. I think that's where Jimmy is. He says he wants to be here because that's what a professional is supposed to say. That's what somebody is supposed to do while they're still working somewhere, right? Like you don't go to your job and say, "Man, I absolutely hate it here. I don't want to be here. I'm not going."
For yourself,
but you know what, Kyle? The problem is this, and. Because they've been so directionless, because like the plan just hasn't made a lot of sense. It didn't have to get ugly,
right?
And now it's ugly. Like today, like officially turned ugly.
And it's
today you had principals saying things that were not so cute and funny, and it's after a loss. By the way, I really like what Bam said. Brady Hawk. Was reporting that Bam said about Jimmy. Obviously, he's frustrated. He feels like he's standing in the corner. We have to figure out how to win games and push through.
Oh fuck!
That's
man.
what you're. But that's
I gotta be honest with you. I think
that's what your captain is supposed to do, right? Like,
I'm
not going to abandon ship.
And by the way, I'm actually kind of interested, and we got to move on because I do want to talk a little bit about Ware, but I do think it's interesting that Jimmy kind of talks about his role in the offense. He said the quote about he wants to feel dominant again, and Bam is talking about he feels like he's standing in a corner. Where did this come from? Because like their offense is the best it's been.
Yes.
Not here. So I don't. Big Dog, are you what's the goal here? Because we've seen you pounding the ball up top and pick and roll, and we've seen you be happy and attempt 5 shots. So I'm not really understanding. Are they upset that Tyler is running? Which, by the way, Tyler's been a much better pick and roll player than Jimmy. Been better for Bam, all that stuff. What's the frustration here? I don't get that. Is he like, where did that come from?
But
what the fuck?
but here's my thing. And I
standing in a corner because you want to stand in a corner.
That's what I'm saying, G. This
guys-
offense, the ball finds energy in this offense.
Right.
Move, screen.
Right.
You stop
And-
screening. You stop being active. Like,
Oh
you
my
can
God.
ball handle.
They hadn't been able to stop the fucking Ware, Jovic, and Tyler, and they put Jimmy, and Jimmy cuts right to the basket and stops it himself. I was like, this is what I've been saying with it. Why isn't Bam getting the lobs? Because Jimmy cuts in the fucking way instead of flaring.
Which,
setting
by the
a
way,
flare.
brother, what do you think you're gonna do in Phoenix?
Stand in the fucking corner.
What do you think? You think that you're gonna take the ball from Kevin Durant and Devin Booker?
Hell no.
Real quick, let's get into Ware for the last couple of minutes. We talked a lot about Jimmy. I think we've all said kind of what we need to say, but I think the Ware thing is interesting. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of talk about playing them together with Bam. If he can shoot like that, I think, of course, it's going to be something that's looked at. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but Alf, I think that clearly it feels a lot like Hassan, where every time this guy plays, it is like, and I'm talking about like Hassan, like the first year, like huge impacts, and we're all like, why is he not playing
Hassan
more?
Ware side.
Hassan Ware side. The vibes are similar. Did not grab a single
I
rebound
won't
today.
say the vibe. I won't say the vibes are similar. I would say when you look at Kalel.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that like clearly there's a lot of excitement about this young center who every time he comes in the game, you know, kind of changes it, is not playing heavy minutes, even though like the fans feel like he should play more minutes, and it's only a matter of time until Spo just says fuck it.
I will say this. I think Kyle and I have argued about whether Ware and Bam can start together. I don't love it still, but I will say if Jimmy's not on the team, it becomes a much more viable option, right? Because if you surround those two with 3 shooters, right? If it's Ware, Bam, Tyler, Duncan, and Haywood, right? Because Haywood could sit there and he will stand in the corner,
Yes,
and be happy, but he'll also cut.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gets around the rim, he'll actually attempt a layup instead of fucking passing it, 4 pump fakes and passing it out like he's Charles Barkley at 42 years old. Like, like I don't love the Ware Bam stuff, but if Ware's going to attempt those shots, if Bam's going to keep attempting those shots, if it's not Jimmy standing in, you know, the dunker spot, the free throw line extended below, like taking up the space of where a power forward should be, like then maybe it could work. I defensively, I would love for someone to have Bam's back instead of Bam trying to have everyone else's back. So I get it. I get why it would work. But it'll never work with Jimmy. Okay. But if Jimmy's going to be gone, you know, then maybe it does work. I don't know.
And that was always my thing about drafting a center or a big that can't stretch the floor consistently. Like Ware has shown he can hit threes, but consistently is the question. Like how he has never hit at any level consistently been a real stretch threat. He hit I think he had like 17 threes all of college last year, something like that. But this is where Alf, you were talking about them not having a plan. If you're going to bring Jimmy back, you're thinking about extending him. You're not playing Jimmy Ware with them. You invested a first round pick. If you're
you invested a first round pick in a backup center.
Exactly.
Bad management again.
Like if you were thinking about picking Ware, he's the best player to you, and you want to play him with your best players. He's you can't. It doesn't make sense. Those two things do not work together. Like you don't trust to play him with Bam at all, and barely play him with Jimmy off the floor. And that's the thing. Like this guy needs reps. He needs to make mistakes. And right now it's real easy. He's not asked to make any reads. He's asked to roll, set screens, catch the ball, shoot the ball. He's got 5 assists in 17 games right now because he doesn't have to make a goddamn read.
But Kyle, look at what Jimmy and Ware played together. It was terrible.
And it's bad because of the spacing, number one. Number two, I think this is going to be rough to say. The same play with Ware is similar to when Jimmy plays with Bam. And what I mean by that is he's in space where Bam should be, to Franky's point, but he also doesn't find Bam that often either. And so there's this issue where you're not finding your big. Bam has enough hard time with being found on any part of the floor. Like if he doesn't get off the rim himself, or he takes the ball and asks for the ball up the court, he probably isn't going to get on offense. So it's the same thing because Ware takes up the same spots on offense where, not the double entendre, but where Jimmy wants to play from. And so I think that's part of the issue is he's taking up the same spots. And I mean, I think Ware's the kind of player, at least from what I'm noticing right now, is he's going to get those shots inside. It warms him up. He may take a 3 once he's gotten a couple of shots inside, or maybe an effort play or something like that. He plays within the flow. Now, granted, he has nothing put and run for him at this moment. So that's a part of it. And also he's not on anyone's scouting report legitimately at this point either. So he's playing what, as I mentioned before, what a rookie is supposed to do. You come in, you put forward your best effort, you make the coach, supposed to make it to where I have to play you. I don't know what else tonight's game said, but you have to play him because otherwise, to Alf, to your point, the biggest concern is who in the hell is your backup center if you play Ware with Bam? Because now you don't have a backup center.
You
don't have one.
You stagger them. You play Kashad. You play Nico with them.
We saw that lineup tonight. It pissed me off really bad. What was that lineup that Franky you saw? It was Burks, Highsmith, Butler, Rosier, and Jovic.
Oh my god!
Spo rolled that he rolled that shit out there, and I looked. I was like, "Where's the white guys?" Like we ain't got no shooting. Like poor Burks.
That's what G said when he clocked into the episode.
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, no, it's some of Spo's lineups.
That was oh my god, that was where I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, did somebody make a mistake?
Anytime the Spo says we need a run and he puts Terry in, I'm like, what the fuck?
Like Burks, Rosier, Highsmith, Butler, and Jovic. Like, what the fuck did they think was going to happen with that lineup? Like, the lineup can't score or defend.
They can't shoot. They can't spade. What are the vibes here?
It's like the all cardio lineup. Like, what the fuck was that for?
And Kyle, you've been big on
Rick Carlisle.
His defense and his just energy, just the spark of the athleticism, the effort. Like you said, he's not on the scouting report. He's just a kid fucking having fun, running around, and the crowd loved it. The loudest the crowd was when Ware was making a run, making plays, and you just need that fucking energy because the vibes this season have been fucking up and down all season, and when it's been low, it's been real low.
And I think also, right, this isn't to me, this isn't a veteran team. There are more young guys on this team than there are older guys. And to be honest with you, I mean, Kevin Love is on here, but for the most part, the average age is, if I'm correct, I think it's like 27.
Yeah.
They have 6 guys that are younger than 25 or something around somewhere in that area. This team needs to play youthful basketball because that's exactly, and here's my thing. The whole competing for championships this season was not something that came into my mind. I didn't think for a second we were competing for a championship. If you're bringing back the same squad, saying that this team has run its construction, has run its course, and you don't make any moves to change that dramatically, I didn't think any of that was going to be the case. I thought, hey, look, we're going to get some good basketball. They're going to win 45 games. They may, take a team to 6. And if they're out in the first round, whoever's gone before October, after October, but before October, then they're gone. That's fine. They move a different direction. But I would prefer if y'all know this. I haven't been the person saying, "Oh, trade this person, trade that person, fire Spo." That's sporadic and ridiculous to me. But if you're going to lean in a direction for the first time in a lot, and we can say a decade, guys. We really can say a decade. If you're going to lean in direction, lean all the way into it, because they've middled before. This isn't the first time. They've middled throughout the last 10 years where they've just put a team out on the floor and say, we're going to compete. And I'm like, guys, this is not a championship squad. They gave Wade spare parts again when he got back here, and he made somewhat of a run. And I think he played really good basketball considering his age, right? They gave him middling guys that don't make you a championship contender. And yeah, what happened to Bosch was rough. I get that. But you had like the shell of Luol Deng, who the Lakers played till God knows when. And you had Joe Johnson on this team with D-Wade at the same time at one point. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to lean in a direction, lean all the way into it. So if that means Jimmy has to go, and I don't get
But you have to have a direction first, Kyle.
He's cut from the same cloth that I feel like D-Wade is cut from the perspective that you're going to get your best effort. That's what you hope for, right, out of your franchise player. At this point, if it's not him, then you move on. Because I'm bringing this back up. If you're going to let Wade walk to Chicago, which he said he was going to eventually do, but I feel like if the Heat had paid him a proper amount, he wouldn't have gone anywhere. If you're going to do the thing with Wade, and Jimmy's like, yo, look, fun times, guys, good vibes, made a couple runs, made some money, I'd like to go somewhere else. Like, then do that. Just let him do, like, wherever he wants to go, find that out. Do it amicably. Don't passive aggressive it. It's like a married couple bumping into each other, going up the stairs and up and down the stairs and acting like nothing is happening. Well, if it's dead, then let it die and move on.
They're both having affairs right now. They're both having affairs. They both know the other's having an affair, and neither one wants to leave.
And I feel like at the end of the day, go young. And get some guys that make this team fun to play with. Like, you should be building, and I think you guys have said this. We should be building around Bam's timeline anyway. Like, that's for all it.
There's a million guys in the league that want to come play with Bam. And you know what? The thing here's my biggest thing about the season. Like, no matter what grouping of guys you play, like, you might be able to push a 4 seed if you play the right guys. If you play the wrong group of guys, it'll probably be a 7-8 seed. And that's a big deal between a play-in or having a first-round home series, right? But like, I think that's very, very ceiling. Like, this team has to make an insane run and get to that 4 seed because they're not catching the Knicks, the Boston, or Cleveland, right? But that means nothing if you get there, or like if you get there by playing a lot of Terry Rosier and Alec Burks minutes. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's no building off of that, right? Like, I don't care what seed they finish at. Just give me some enjoyable basketball. Because, Kyle, to your point, this was never a championship team. This was never a conference finals team. The ceiling for this team was to give somebody a hard time in the second round. That has been the ceiling. And when I say ceiling, I mean absolute ceiling. What really is most likely going to happen is either a playing appearance or a first-round exit, embarrassing first-round exit. But I can take that if I'm watching young guys come into their own. But I can't take it. Like, I can't enjoy this shit if, like I said, if it's Terry Rosier, a disengaged Jimmy, and Alec Burks out there all night long. Like, and I like Alec Burks, but I need like 12 minutes a game of Alec Burks tops. Don't give me anything more than that. Like, Alec Burks out there for defensive stop. Like, what? You're fucking kidding me at this point. But like, this team was not a contender. So you never understood the Terry Rosier trade. You never understood, if you didn't give Jimmy his extension, Why didn't you do something with him? Like, why are you not amassing assets and playing all your young talent right now? Because you're not close. Like, I argue with Rohan Narkani about this all the time, name drop. Like, he's always like, oh, there's moves to be made. For what? For what? For an extra win in the second round? Like, to maybe avoid the play-in by a game and a half? Like, there are no moves to be made for this fucking current roster to be championship good. There are none. Like, you can't give me the move unless you say it's Jimmy Butler for Kevin Durant or something, which, like, you can give me fantasy shit, but there is no.
How about this?
Listen, I love all these moves.
Free Haywood.
So for the podcast audience, it's a Bleacher Report proposed trade: Jimmy Butler, Haywood, Pella for Andrew Wiggins, Gary Payton II, Kevin Looney, Jonathan Kuminga, Podzinski, 2025 first round pick, 2027 first round pick. And the reason I like this one is because, yes, Andrew Wiggins is a terrible fucking contract, but I like all those other guys, or Looney, whatever. But I like Jonathan.
He's honestly not that bad. It's
and
3
they'd
years,
probably
26. Like,
they'd get Looney to trade him.
Yes.
And I got to be honest, I wouldn't even. I'd probably do the deal without Podzinski because.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, because like that's a guy they don't need.
To me, Kuminga and the 2 first-round picks are the star of the trade.
yes.
I think Wiggins keeps them competitive, and I think Gary Payton is good-ish. They could trade Looney for something. I'm sure
you could trade a lot of these guys.
Somebody's gonna want Kevon Looney. Like that's gonna be a guy that like good teams call for that need a big in the rotation for the playoffs.
But I would take Looney as a backup.
But you're not competing.
You got Ware.
I'm playing Ware, Kashad. I'm playing all the young guys.
You're not. You trade Jimmy. You're not.
Any of those guys that you receive that you can get an asset for. The only one out of that group I would keep is Kuminga.
I'm not mad at Gary Payton II, though.
I like Gary Payton II, but if somebody will give you you're not gonna get a.
Nobody's gonna give anything for him.
But the last time the Heat traded a player for a first-round pick, Kel'el Ware was 4 years old. I want to remind you guys.
Frankie, some might say that's aberrational.